Good morning, students. Today we are going to start the first chapter of economics of plus 2 class, and the topic is Introduction to Macroeconomics. So, what is macroeconomics? Macroeconomics is the branch of economics that studies the behavior and performance of an economy as a whole. It focuses on aggregate change in the economy, such as unemployment, GDP, growth rate, and inflation. It also studies how government can improve the state of economy as a whole. Next is how macroeconomics is different from microeconomics. So the basic points of difference between macroeconomics and microeconomics is, first one is basis of studies. So microeconomics studies problems at the level of an individual, whereas in case of macroeconomics the problems are studied at the level of an economy as a whole. Next one is economic variables. So microeconomics uses microeconomic variables such as consumers demand or producers supply, whereas in case of macroeconomics aggregate demand and aggregate supply of goods and services in the economy is used. Next is economic agents. So economic agent is a decision maker that has an effect on an economy by buying, selling, and producing. Households, firms, individuals, institutions are the some of the examples of economic agents. So individual economic agents includes consumers and producers. They focus on the maximization of their personal gains, whereas institutional agents include SEBI, RBI, TRAI, and these institutional agents basically focus on social welfare. So when we study microeconomics, at micro level economic decisions are taken largely by individual economic agent, whereas at macro levels these decisions are generally taken by institutional agents. Next is degree of aggregation. In case of microeconomics, degree of aggregation is limited as compared to macroeconomics, because in microeconomics only demand and supply of individual consumer and individual supplier is studied, whereas in case of macroeconomics aggregate demand and aggregate supply is used. So in case of macroeconomics degree of aggregation is more than that of microeconomics. Next is different set of assumptions. So microeconomics and macroeconomics are based on different sets of assumptions. So certain variables are assumed to be constant in microeconomics, whereas they are assumed to be changing in macroeconomics. Means the variables which are assumed as constant in microeconomics are changing at a macro level, but the variables which are assumed as constant in macroeconomics are changing in a micro level. Next is central issue. So allocation of resources is the central issue in microeconomics, whereas determination of overall level of output is the central issue in macroeconomics. Next is method of study. So macroeconomics describes the general equilibrium analysis. On the other hand, method of study in microeconomics is partial equilibrium analysis. So what is partial equilibrium analysis and general equilibrium analysis? Partial equilibrium analysis is an examination of equilibrium and changes in equilibrium in one market in isolation, whereas general equilibrium analysis addresses how equilibrium is determined in all the markets at the same time. Next is micro macro paradox. So what is logical at the micro level may not be logical at the macro level, and what is logical at the macro level may not be logical at the micro level. So these were the points of differentiation between microeconomics and macroeconomics. Next is scope and significance of macroeconomics. Scope of macroeconomics means the areas in which macroeconomics can be used. First one is estimation of national income and related aggregates. So the study of macroeconomics is very important for evaluating the overall performance of an economy in terms of national income. National income data helps in forecasting the level of economic activity and to understand the distribution of income among different group of people in the economy. Next is theory of employment. So this stream of macroeconomics helps to figure out the level of unemployment and prevailing employment conditions in the country. It explains the causes of unemployment and also suggests the various remedial measures to combat these problems. Next is theory of money. Macroeconomic analyzes the functions of the Reserve Bank in the economy. The inflow and outflow of money along with its impact on the employment level is also studied. Next is theory of general price level. The most important of all is the analysis of product pricing and how this price level fluctuates because of inflation and deflation. Next is role of government. Macroeconomics also studies how government's budget impact the level of economic activity in the country. And the last one is exchange rate and balance of payment. So the determination of exchange rate and the way it is managed is an important element of scope of macroeconomics. So these were the areas in which macroeconomics can be used. And the next one is importance of macroeconomics. First one is description of economy. So macroeconomics helps us to understand the functioning of a complicated modern economic system. It describes how the economy as a whole functions and how the level of national income and employment is determined on the basis of aggregate demand and aggregate supply. Next one is roadmap of growth and development. Macroeconomics helps to achieve the goal of economic growth, a higher GDP level and higher level of employment also. It analyzes the forces which determine economic growth of a country and explain how to reach the highest level and to sustain that level or to maintain that level. Next is economic stability. Macroeconomics helps to bring stability in price levels and analyzes fluctuations in business activities. Macroeconomics suggests policy measures to control inflation and deflation. Next one is balance of payment status. It explains factors which determines balance of payment. At the same time, it identifies causes of deficit in balance of payment and suggests remedial measures to improve that balance. And the second last is problem of poverty and environmental pollution. Macroeconomics helps to solve economic problems like poverty, unemployment, inflation, deflation, and environmental pollution, whose solution is possible only at the macro level. And the last one is policy formulation. Framing of monetary and fiscal policies depends upon the study of prevailing macroeconomic conditions in the country. With a detailed knowledge of the functioning of an economy at macro level, it has been possible to formulate correct economic policies and also coordinate international economic policies. So these were the some of the points of importance of macroeconomics. So I hope meaning of macroeconomics is also clear to you, and with that the area in which macroeconomics can be used and the basic points of differentiation between microeconomics and macroeconomics is clear to you. So thank you students, have a nice day.